Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary. It's the late kickoff in the Championship on this Easter Monday. Nottingham Forest leading against West Bromwich Albion by 3-0. And it all went wrong for West Brom after a bright first few minutes. Nottingham Forest taking the lead on 90 minutes after a penalty was dispatched by Brennan Johnson. That was after a second yellow card for Darnell Furlong. He got his first just a few minutes before his second. 14 and 17 for the two yellow cards for Darnell Furlong. As the shot was coming in, he was already on the ground, having put a challenge in. And as I say, you could argue whether his arm was already up and he was just unlucky, or whether he had his arm there and he just moved it slightly to try and stop the ball. But in the end, the referee was convinced that it was certainly enough to give a penalty and a second yellow. And the resultant spot kick was put away by Johnson. Just a few minutes later, it was 2-0 after a corner kick from James Garner was headed in with a powerful header from Ryan Yates. Although West Brom were furious because replays confirmed that it should have been a throw to West Brom in the build-up to that move that led to the corner. But just before half-time, as Forest were piling on the pressure with that man advantage, an absolutely stunning strike from Jack Colback. The ball was played away towards the left-hand edge of the field, and Colback from a tight angle caught the ball perfectly on the volley after it was played to him down that left-hand side. It was a stunning strike that flew over David Button into the top corner. So now West Brom in real trouble here in this game, although they made a bright start here inside the first minute, trying to send the ball towards the edge of the area. Here is Garner Hickman now, who bore the wrath of the Forest fans in the first half with when he booted the ball into the crowd. Caught with a bit of a challenge there. He wants a free kick. Scott McKenna bumped into him, but the linesman says no foul. It's just going to be a goal kick. So just to remind you of the two 11s, no changes for Forest. Bryce Samba is in goal. It's a back three of Joe Worrell, Tobias Figueiredo and Scott McKenna. The four across the middle are Jep Spence, Ryan Yates, James Garner and Jack Colback, with Brennan Johnson, Philip Zinker-Angel and Sam Surridge as the attacking three. For West Brom, it is David Button in goal. Back three of Kyle Bartley, Dara O'Shea and Matt Clark. The four across the middle are Taylor Garner Hickman, who came on for Karlan Grant. He's over on the right-hand side. Then it's Jake Livermore, Alex Mowat and Connor Townsend, with Adam Reach just in a bit more of a free role playing behind Andy Carroll. As I say, West Brom are down to 10 men and have been since the 17th minute. And here come Forest now with their first attack of the second half. It's with Colback down the left, playing it back towards Garner. Garner in towards Yates. Getting towards the edge of the area now, finds Spence over on the right-hand side. Spence back to Yates, puts it onto his left foot, goes for goal. He lifts it just a little bit too much though. There's Ryan Yates, and ball goes over the bar. But a smile on his face as he talks to his teammate there to say Forest, not saying they can relax completely, but 3-0 up. They would feel as though it really is their game to lose. Their game to lose after a calamity, really, considering how the first half went. But they're showing us that Colback goal again. And I tell you what, they can show it every few minutes for the rest of this game if they like, because it is an absolute beauty. The left-footed technique to put his foot through that. I mean, he actually covers his face. He can't believe it when he scores it. But it is an absolute beauty from Colback, and Button full stretch couldn't get near it. Surridge now down the left-hand side, tries to play that ball off Kyle Bartley to win his side the corner. And, well, certainly from Surridge's point of view, it seemed obvious that it should have been a corner kick. But a couple of obvious things haven't been so obvious to our referee, David Webb, this evening. And on that occasion, decides it should just be a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion, as Button now waiting to restart play. Long clearance from him down the middle. Headed away here by Tobias Figueiredo. Drops to Surridge. Back now towards Scott McKenna. And Figueiredo now in towards Joe Worrell. This is the problem for West Brom. Once Forest get on the ball, they're very hard to dispossess, particularly when they're at home and they've got such a big advantage. So it's going to be a real job here for West Brom to still try and keep it competitive here in the second half. And Forest have these long spells of possession. It's with Figueiredo now to Colback. Back towards Garner. Just to tell you very quickly, the bench for Forest this evening is Myton, Cafu, Horvath, Lolly, Xander Silva, Cook and Lirea. They're on the bench for Nottingham Forest this evening. As for West Brom, they've already brought on Gardner Hickman, but they've still got Ajayi, and Garner, Robinson, Malumbi, Palmer and Phillips to choose from on their bench, should Steve Bruce feel the need to do so. Just to remind you again, Forest's next game away to Peterborough on Saturday. West Brom are at home to Coventry City also on Saturday. Both those games are 3 o'clock kickoffs. Now Forest in possession down the left here with Garner into Colback. Plays it square now to Worrell. Worrell up towards Zinkerangel. And options here for Worrell left and right. Just chooses to leave it though here for Zinkerangel. He tries to go on a little run and play an attempted 1-2 there from Surridge, but he missed the ball. And now there's going to be a yellow card here, I think, for Ryan Yates as he pulls on Andy Carroll's shirt. In fact, he's going to get away with it. It's not going to be a yellow. I think Yates' argument would be that there wasn't enough contact really to bring down the West Brom man. But enough to give a free kick, maybe not enough for the booking. Button now stepping forward to take this free kick. It's right by the edge of the centre circle here, but the West Brom keeper is out to try and send as many players forward as possible. Just going to make sure that he gauges the power of this kicking right. It's never been his strongest suit, actually, kicking for David Button. Remembering him playing down the leagues. And again, plays that one low. It's flicked on, and now a chance here for Bartley as he plays it to Clark. Not sure that's what Button intended to do, but then Reach puts a ball in from the left-hand side. But it's far too close to Bryce Samba, and a comfortable save there in the end for the Nottingham Forest keeper. So the home side now looking to play out from the back. It is with Worrell. Square now to Figueiredo. Over towards Scott McKenna. Now Colback back towards Scott McKenna. The visitors trying to press, but they're not pressing too high for obvious reasons. They don't want to send too many players forward and then leave massive gaps at the back. It's that very difficult balance you have to strike when you're chasing a game and you're down by a man as well. As here comes Zinkerangel now for Forest. Over towards Brennan Johnson. And now Worrell. That's a bit of a loose ball there, giving a bit of extra work for Figueiredo to keep this in play. But already I think we're getting a little bit of a prognosis of how this second half could go. It's going to be fairly sort of slow and steady possession here from Forest, with West Brom just having little forays to try and win the ball back. But you just get the feeling that if West Brom push any further, then Forest are going to find the gaps to try and increase their lead. So West Brom, whilst they still have a theoretical chance in this game, albeit things looking a little bit uphill for them, but it looks as though Steve Bruce is preparing another change here. Just seeing who it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be Jason Malumbi getting ready to come on. So we'll wait to see if he's going to be coming on the field anytime soon. He's had 27 appearances for West Brom this season. 14 starts and 13 off the bench, so it looks like it's going to be his 14th appearance off the bench now. Confirmation that it is Jason Malumbi to come off, and he comes on for Alex Mowat, who's had a pretty quiet game in midfield this evening. So Malumbi on now, just to try and change the fortunes of West Brom in this last... we've still got quite a long way to go in this second half. We're only at 54 minutes now. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Nottingham Forest leading against West Brom by 3-0. But now West Brom have won themselves a throw-on, and it's within range of Dara O'Shea, who has got a very long throw, and he's got options here inside the penalty area. There's also quite a wide side of the pitch here out to the City ground, so he's certainly got enough space to launch this ball into the box, which is what he does. It just gets away from Clark. It's then volleyed back towards O'Shea, who then lifts a very high cross into the penalty area. It's sort of dropping underneath the crossbar, but it's catching practice in the end for Samba, who then clears it early as well down the left-hand side. Headed away by O'Shea. It drops to Jake Livermore, West Brom captain. Then back to Matt Clark, and Button being closed down here by Johnson. Needs to clear this one long, which he does. Headed away now by Joe Worrell. Ball drops to Jed Spence. Back to Worrell again. And then he plays it square to Figueiredo, over towards Scott McKenna. As Forest again just very happy to sit in possession here inside their own half, or just around about the halfway line. I do wonder as well, Steve Bruce and his assistant Steve Agnew, they were really following the referee down the tunnel at half time. Looked as though David Webb was trying to defuse the situation as much as he could. Of course, once a decision's been made, it's not going to be changed. But you could see that the West Brom bench were furious with a couple of the decisions in that first half. Here come Forest again, though. Joe Worrell with the ball towards the edge of the area, taken down by Garner Hickman. And then he plays it back towards Button. A long clearance from him, and Carroll is chasing this. And Figueiredo and McKenna have allowed it to bounce a couple of times, but McKenna in the end with a comfortable cushioned header back towards Bryce Samba, and Forest can start again now at the edge of their own penalty area. Worrell inside now towards Garner. Garner over towards the right-hand side now for Worrell, as West Brom still sitting back quite deep here, allowing Forest a little bit of space as Spence now goes on the run. He finds Surridge at the edge there. As Surridge goes alone, Spence wanted the ball again. It drops to Zinkerangel, who actually picks it off the feet of Garner, who is ready to shoot there. Forest players getting in each other's way inside the penalty area before Jack Colback runs into substitute Jason Malumbi. Didn't think there was too much in that from Colback, but the referee gives a free kick West Brom's way. Jed Spence wanted the ball back there from Sam Surridge inside the penalty area. Surridge went alone, his shot was charged down, and then as the ball was dropping, Zinkerangel took a touch when Garner was pretty much flying towards that ball. He wanted to hit it on the volley and couldn't quite get on the end of it as Zinkerangel got there first. It is a free kick to West Bromwich Albion now, still inside their own half. James Garner has created more chances for Forest than anybody else this season. Very busy midfielder, certainly has been this evening. There's a long ball now over the top. Andy Carroll feels as though he was being fouled there by Joe Worrell, and the referee agrees. Took a couple of seconds there for David Webb to come to the same conclusion, but he decides that should be a free kick to West Bromwich. In fact, no, it's been given as a throw on. Andy Carroll was unhappy that he was being held on to there, but the referee gives him the consolation prize, a throw on, taken here by Townsend to Reach, then Reach back to Townsend. Townsend couldn't quite get the ball back to Adam Reach, and it's cleared away down the right-hand side as Forest look. It's out for a throw to West Brom. And it is Matt Clark now waiting to restart play. In fact, he leaves it here for Connor Townsend. Still got over half an hour to play in this game, so if West Brom were to get a goal back, not saying that Forest would shut up shop, but they would certainly just have a little bit more of a thought that they could still potentially drop points in a game when they really should be completely out of sight. I just feel that a fourth goal for Forest really would just completely wrap it up. I mean, 3-0, it still seems a fairly secure scoreline as it stands in this second half. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. As I say, earlier today, Reading were 4-1 down at home to Swansea City. And then late goals allowed the Royals to get back into that game, drawing 4-4, which subsequently relegated Derby County, who lost 1-0 away at QPR today. QPR's first win in 7, as Mark Warburton's side really have been falling like a stone in the last few weeks. But that win today just gives them an outside chance that picking up points in their final games could still see them in the playoff mix. As it's with Jack Colback now on the left-hand side, puts the ball into the penalty area. It's picked off Sam Surridge. Just to tell you as well, 77% possession for Nottingham Forest in these first 14 minutes of the second half. They really have been in complete control, albeit they haven't really created a clear-cut chance in the second half, but they've certainly had a lion's share of possession. Here comes Jed Spence now. He gets to the edge of the area, tricking and twisting his way into the box. It's a tight angle now. He can't really get the shot away, trying to at least force a corner. That's not going to happen either. That's good work there from a combination of Clark and Townsend. Clear the ball up towards the halfway line, and now that's good play there from Jason Malumbi, who is tripped by Ryan Yates, and he's going to get a booking here, Ryan Yates. He's had 2 or 3 fouls in the game now, and I'm not so sure that Yates can really argue about that decision either. Malumbi was getting away from him and starting a counter-attack, and he just clips his heels. There's not too much intent to injure the man, but there certainly is intent in terms of trying to stop him going on the run, and that's the 8th yellow card that Yates has had this season. So as a central midfielder playing in the Championship, that's about a standard amount, I think, after around 40 games. 41st game for Forest this season. And as far as Yates himself has pretty much been an ever-present. 38 starts including today, plus a couple of substitute appearances. Player. born in Nottingham, enjoying a fantastic season here for Forest. And as I say, they've just got to make sure they get themselves into that top 6 sides like QPR, Coventry, Middlesbrough, Blackburn, Millwall are all still trying to get into that top 6. I would have mentioned West Brom as well, who are just behind Coventry City, but as I say, if they were to lose today, they would be 6 points behind Sheffield United with just 3 games to play. So yeah, mathematically they're still in the hunt, but they would have to win their last 3 games, and the sides above them would have to start dropping points all over the place, really. So a win tonight for West Brom was essential, but if they were to lose, I think it's almost game over. And Forest now trying to attack here with Colback. Gets the ball into Gardner. Gardner's ball, good header away there by Clark. Back into midfield, drops to Scott McKenna. Gardner now finds Colback. He's still on a high after that goal in the first half. Zinker Angel now back towards Garner. And options left and right. Finds Colback. Back to Zinker Angel. And now it's with Garner. Square now to Yates. Yates takes a strike. Right-footed effort from Yates. Certainly closer than the effort he had earlier in the second half. But it's still a little bit too high there from Ryan Yates as the ball was played to him. Spotted a window there, aiming for the top corner. In the end, just missing that stanchion post behind the goal, which is still a couple of yards away from the actual post itself. So missing by quite a bit in the end there, Yates. Long clearance now from Button. And Carroll does well there, keeps the ball away from Worrell. Then it's played down the left here towards Adam Reach. At the edge of the area, Reach tries to play it into Townsend. He underhits the pass. Reach trying really hard to win that ball back, but Spence holds him off, and then it's played back to Figueiredo, who clears it down the right-hand side, straight to Jason Malumbi, who runs straight into trouble in the form of Philip Zinker Angel. He plays it up towards the halfway line. Surridge holds it up, keeps it away from O'Shea, and then plays it back towards Joe Worrell, as Forest just quite happy to slow things down now in midfield. It's with Jack Colback. Back towards Scott McKenna. Now Figueiredo to Worrell. Inside to Yates. Yates looks up and then plays it towards Scott McKenna. McKenna now towards Colback. And Garner looks up and finds an option here. That option is Brennan Johnson. West Brom are back in numbers, but Forest creeping closer and closer to the penalty area. Johnson then finds Zinker Angel. And the ball played back towards James Garner. Garner towards Zinker Angel again. Pressure on him. Good strong challenge there from Livermore, but the ball is lost almost immediately by Malumbi. And here comes Gardner now. He couldn't quite finish his run off into the box. Leaves it for Zinker Angel, who tries a right-footed curling effort. The invitation was there for Philip Zinker Angel. But the Dane in the end lifting that one a little bit wide. There's real frustration there for Jake Livermore, who won the ball back for his side, and then almost immediately Malumbi gave it away. Which certainly wasn't what would have been what Steve Bruce would have wanted to see there. His side have shown some resilience in the second half, but the problem is because they're fighting such an uphill battle here in the second half, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to keep at it. I think that the problem for them is that they're seeing so little of the ball in attack as well. And here come Forest again with a long diagonal ranging ball from Garner to Spence, who tries to play it back towards Johnson, Johnson actually got too close to Spence, and then when Spence laid it off to him, we got away from him. It's with Jake Livermore now. Square towards O'Shea, played back towards the edge of the area now for Button. Long clearance from the goalkeeper. Carroll's underneath it. It eludes him. It eludes Figueiredo as well. But Worrell is there with a comfortable header back towards his own goalkeeper. Bryce Samba still a on-field spectator, you could say, for most of this game. Had very, very little to do in this game so far, the Forest keeper. And I'm sure he'll be hoping that's the case. Always think in these situations, do goalkeepers just want the clean sheet and stay out of the limelight, or they want a couple of sort of saves for the photographers, but other than that they don't want it to be too particularly busy. And, certainly from Samba's point of view, it's had almost nothing to do in this game, and his side now in slow but steady possession here in midfield with Joe Worrell. Jed Spence now, been blocked here by Adam Reach. Just goes square towards Brennan Johnson, who really is hugging that right wing here in the second half. Johnson, Zinker Angel now under pressure there, loses the ball in the end, and it's with Gardner Hickman now played it back towards Kyle Bartley, cleared up towards the halfway line. Carroll goes down after being pushed, he says, after being pushed by Joe Worrell. Referee just says get up. He feels as though there was no foul there on Andy Carroll. But it's an attack here now, or at least possession going forward for Nottingham Forest, as Colback goes back towards Scott McKenna. And now Joe Worrell with a bit more space down the right-hand side, carries on his run, goes square now towards Garner. Garner finds Colback as well there. Colback plays it in towards Yates. Yates then sets it up here for Worrell. Worrell back towards Zinker Angel. Worrell again with a cross into the box. That's a good header from Gardner Hickman. Just takes all the power out the cross and makes sure there's enough time for his goalkeeper to get on the end of it without any pressure from a Forest player. Long clearance from Button, punts that one downfield, but that's straight to Joe Worrell, and Forest straight away on the attack. But the pass from Johnson is just a little bit too long there for Zinker Angel. And then it's played back towards Button, but then he clears it long as well. The one in a West Brom shirt able to get on the end there. West Brom in their yellow away strip this evening. Yellow shirts, navy shorts, and yellow socks. Forest, as you would expect. Red shirts, white socks, and red shirts, white shorts, and red socks, I should say. I'll get my words out. As long ball now played down towards Johnson down the right-hand side. Stopped well there by Adam Reach, and now a chance here for West Brom. They've got a couple of players forward, but the ball just stopped with Livermore, and his pass out towards the right-hand side is picked off by Colback, who then lifts across. Just a little bit too high there from Colback, but still followed in by Johnson. Tried to play it to Jed Spence, but a combination of Townsend and Reach dispossess him, but then a combination of Townsend and Reach also give the ball away. And it is Forest now back in possession with Garner. Over towards McKenna. McKenna back in towards Gardner. That's easily cleared though by Gardner Hickman. Back towards the halfway line where Tobias Figueiredo plays it back now towards Bryce Samba. He's certainly had a lot more work with his feet than his hands this evening, Bryce Samba, that's for sure. And Forest now back again on the halfway line. Just looking at the live table. Forest will be a point behind Luton with 2 games in hand. They've also got 2 games in hand on Huddersfield Town as well. That will be 3 games by the time Huddersfield play. Of course, Huddersfield play on Friday before Forest play on Saturday. It will be at Huddersfield against Barnsley. Barnsley aren't, although Barnsley are behind Derby, they're not yet technically relegated because they have that extra game to play. So Derby, as it stands, are 11 points adrift of safety, and they've still got 12 points to play for. But in fairness, if they were to win away at Huddersfield on Friday, it would certainly mix things up as far as the playoff race is concerned. But it would also perhaps just prolong it for an extra week there for Barnsley. It's hard to see how no side above them is going to get another point before the end of the season while they win their last 4 games. Such a shame for Barnsley, considering some of the football they've played in the Championship over the last couple of seasons. And of course there is that West Brom connection as well with their former manager starting the season here, but not able to get too much in terms of an improvement. And Forest were last in the league on the 23rd of September. And West Brom were sitting in 4th place. And you look at how things have changed since then. West Brom are now languishing in mid-table, with Forest solidly in that top 6. As I say, I very much always look forward to the playoffs when my team's not in there. But it's always that lottery. It's so difficult as well, just to make a mistake in the first leg, and then it can end up haunting you right up until the end of the second leg. Of course, away goals don't count. They never have done barring I think the first few years of the playoffs in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't think they've even then I think they only had them for a couple of seasons before they were withdrawn. It was just decided that when it's a battle for promotion to get into the next division, just seems like a bit of a harsh way to lose on away goals, really. I mean, of course, away goals have been done away with now across the board in UEFA. That's why it was a little bit confusing a few weeks ago when they had the African World Cup qualifiers, and seeing that teams are still knocked out on away goals, because of course in African Confederation games they do still use the away goals to try and settle two-legged ties. But here at the City Ground, 70 minutes gone, Nottingham Forest leading against West Brom by 3 goals. And I allow myself a little tangent there because things have just slowed down here at the City Ground. West Brom seeing a bit more of the ball, but just because of Forest having the man advantage and having this 3-goal lead, it's just proving very difficult here for West Bromwich Albion to actually make any inroads and actually try and test this Forest defence. But Forest are going to make their first change of the evening, and it looks like it is going to be Steve Cook to come on. Steve Cook, the very experienced defender. Of course, we all really associate him with Bournemouth, of course, long-serving player at AFC Bournemouth. But now at Nottingham Forest, and he's going to be coming on the field anytime soon. He's already made 10 appearances for Forest. There's the ball now over on the right-hand side. Chance here now to try and keep the ball in play there, but it just gets away from Spence. It's now with Clark here for West Brom. Plays it in towards Livermore. Livermore up towards the halfway line. That's picked off though by Joe Worrell. And West Brom now have the ball back here after Worrell just played it straight forward towards Connor Townsend. Townsend though gives it away, and it is Forest back in possession here now with Garner. Over towards Colback, under pressure there from O'Shea. Plays it back towards the halfway line where Jake Livermore finds Andy Carroll. Carroll just off balance. Seemed like the pass was pretty close to the big man, but he couldn't quite control it. And Worrell now plays the ball forward. It's an early ball played towards the edge of the area, cleared back into midfield. It's with Spence now. Spence under a bit of pressure, getting away from Connor Townsend, playing it back now towards Zinker Angel, and Zinker Angel to Worrell. Square now to Figueiredo. The camera did focus on Scott McKenna just as they showed us Steve Cook, so it may well be that McKenna is the one who's going to get the hook. Wait and see exactly what Steve Cooper has planned. But Colback down the left-hand side, trying to thread that one through to Surridge. That's well cleared by Kyle Bartley back towards the halfway line. And then McKenna squared to Figueiredo. Worrell now with a bit of space down the right-hand side. Inside now towards Yates. Back to Worrell. Spence now down the right-hand side. Has options here. Takes the ball on himself and skips away from Townsend. Gets into the penalty area. Townsend, does he lean on him? It's inside the box. Referee says no. And it's cleared back towards the halfway line. Figueiredo does well to win the initial ball here for Forest, but then that's a shocking ball though from Jake Livermore, playing it square across his own penalty area. Colback picks it off, plays it to Surridge, and Surridge can't quite get the shots away. Well, we've seen on 3 or 4 occasions in this game where Jake Livermore, the captain, is just showing his players, look, calm down, don't play risky balls. I mean, he was being held onto there, Jake Livermore. He's certainly getting into the referee about that. But the fact is that he played a ball which was straight to a Nottingham Forest player, and he's lucky there. We'll have a look here. Is there a foul on Jed Spence as he is dancing into the penalty area? Townsend, no, I think Spence is already on the way down. He's sort of leaning into Townsend and then loses his balance. So as far as I can see, nothing wrong with that decision not to give a penalty, as West Brom make their third and final change. Andy Carroll has run his race for this evening. He is off to be replaced by Matt Phillips. And a change here, it is going to be Scott McKenna. Solid performance from Scott McKenna this evening. Seems to be winning every header against Andy Carroll early on in the game. Replaced by the experienced former Bournemouth man Steve Cook. So that is the first change for Forest, and it's the third and final change here for West Bromwich Albion. Have to wait and see exactly how these last 15 minutes play out, but has been dominant from Forest in the second half, as you would expect with that 3-goal lead from the first. Second half possession stat 76% for Nottingham Forest, 24 for West Brom. Forest have had 4 efforts on goal. They've all been off target. West Brom have yet to register any effort on goal in the second half. And overall in the game, West Bromwich Albion have 1 effort on goal, and it was off target. So it has been a very bleak night attack-wise for West Brom. They're attacking the goal, which is in front of their away fans in this second half. But the away fans have barely had any action in front of that goal at all. It really has been, I wouldn't say one-way traffic, because it's not been too much happening in front of West Brom's goal either, but certainly it's mainly been in midfield, with Forest having certainly the majority of possession. And here is Garner now for Forest, over towards Worrell, who's pretty much allowing himself to play as an additional central midfielder here. Certainly got no work to do in defence. Spence over towards Johnson. Back now towards Ryan Yates, and it's with Johnson again to Spence, under a bit of pressure there from Townsend. Plays it back towards Worrell, and then Worrell back towards the halfway line now. First touch of the ball there for Cook. He then leaves it for Tobias Figueiredo, and Figueiredo back over towards Spence on the right hand side. Forest just quite happy to ping it around here in midfield. No urgency to get forward, and certainly no real pressure from West Brom to dispossess them either. So it is comfortable here for Nottingham Forest for the time being. It's with Figueiredo now towards Steve Cook. Cook looks up, goes back towards Figueiredo. Now it's with Joe Worrell down the right-hand side. Fires a ball towards Spence. Spence under pressure here from Townsend. Tries to get away from Townsend. Runs into Townsend. That's good play there from West Brom's number 3. Just make sure that ball is then cleared up towards the halfway line. Matt Phillips doing his best there, but Figueiredo is able to outmuscle him, although Phillips then picks the ball off Joe Worrell. He didn't take no for an answer there, the West Brom sub, and a lovely bit of skill from Matt Phillips there to just evade Joe Worrell, but then has to check his run and wait for a bit of support. Back heel there from Matt Phillips to Townsend, and it's Adam Reach on the run now down the left-hand side. He's got no one to pass to now. Gardner Hickman's arrived at the edge of the area. He goes back towards Adam Reach. Reach with a little step over, left-footed ball into the box. There's a West Brom man down inside the penalty area. It's Dara O'Shea playing as a sort of emergency striker there, but he goes down. He thumps the turf when he realises he's not got a penalty. Looking at it live, I'm not so sure there was much argument for a spot kick. I'd need to see a replay to have a better view of that one. Brennan Johnson now for Nottingham Forest. Back towards Spence. And it's with James Garner. Now towards Brennan Johnson. Zinker Angel spots Colback down the left-hand side. Colback back towards the edge of the area now for Zinker Angel. He couldn't quite find a ball into the box, and then it's cleared away, but it's not a good clearance. And you can see there that Garner Hickman isn't happy. He thought that he could have got a pass there rather than a clearance to try and keep in play. In the end, it goes out for a throw to Forest, who are making their second change of the evening. And it's going to be Diop Spence to go off. He's getting a good round of applause. Popular player here at the City Ground. And he's making his way towards the touchline. Season loaner from Middlesbrough here for Spence. Really has fitted well into this side, and he's going off to be replaced by Richie Laria. So Laria is on the field now. It's just going to get just under 15 minutes here. There's also going to be another change here as well, as Cafu is on to replace Ryan Yates. So Cafu is on to replace Ryan Yates, and as I said, there's also a change here with Spence replaced by Laria. So Richie Laria now on the field on that right-hand side. And say no surprise really that Steve Cooper waiting quite a while to make these changes. Probably wanted to get his starting 11 decent amount of time on the field with this almost like training ground pre-season friendly style feel to the second half. It has been at a slow pace. Times where it's almost been walking pace, but that's because West Brom are still loath to commit too many players to go too far forward and potentially turn this into an embarrassing scoreline. Just looking down at League One to see the battle to get into the Championship. Wigan in first place, 4 points clear of Rotherham, also 4 points clear of Milton Keynes, who are in that third place in the league. And a real battle to get into the playoffs, just as in the Championship. Currently Sheffield Wednesday just a point out of the playoffs, a point behind Sunderland and Wickham, who are occupying 5th and 6th place. Both sides dropping points today. Sunderland drawing away at Plymouth, which was, in fairness, would have been a tough game, but a disappointment for Wickham drawing away at AFC Wimbledon. We're still fighting for their lives down the bottom of the league. But I say, there's always going to be some unpredictable results in the Football League. The Championship is a fascinating league just for that very reason, that every week you're going to get some sort of surprise, with a side at the top going down to a side at the bottom. But here, less than 10 minutes to play now at the City Ground. Still that 3-0 lead for Forest from the first half. And they're quite happy just playing around with it really inside the West Brom half. It's with Steve Cook now. Back to Tobias Figueiredo, and space here down the right hand side now for Worrell. Finds Cafu, bit of space here for Cafu, now over to Cook with a cross in, which is sliced away really, sort of miscued you could almost say by Kyle Bartley. I think, did that go out for a corner? It certainly went close to the corner flag, and the way that everyone is congregating inside the 6-yard box tells me that it probably is going to be a corner kick here to Forest. It's been precious little in terms of attack in this second half, but let's wait to see how the home side are going to attempt this particular set piece. There's certainly more West Brom players than Forest players in that box now. Now you can see a couple of the big men turning up, including Cafu and Worrell. It's played low towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It bounces over everyone's head. It drops to Colback, who volleys it from the edge of the area. It's charged down by Livermore. Now a chance for a counter-attack, but Gardner-Hickman runs straight into trouble. The lovely back heel there from Cafu to find Johnson, who hits it down the middle, though. It's a shot on target, but it's a routine save really there for David Button. No problem for the West Brom keeper in the end. This is a good play, though, from Forest to win the ball back. The strike from Johnson. Probably would have liked to have developed a bit more movement on that one, but in the end it's straight down the middle. Ball now in midfield here with O'Shea. Short towards, well, I'm not sure what Gardner-Hickman was trying there, but O'Shea with a look back towards his young teammates saying, well, what am I supposed to do with that? It's Forest now back in possession, deep inside their own half with Joe Worrell down the right hand side, in towards Johnson, back towards Worrell, and he then plays it square now to Figueiredo. It's with Steve Cook. Just looked up, wanted to play it long, but West Brom, in fairness to them, are still playing quite a high offside line, trying to condense their half of the pitch, just to make it that little bit more difficult here for Forest to get nearer the penalty area. Colback, though, plays a lovely 1-2 with Surridge, and Colback gets to the edge of the area. He picks out Johnson and then tees it up for Zinkerangel. His strike is charged down by Livermore. Second ball drops to Cafu, but he couldn't quite control it. Volleyed clear now by Townsend up towards the halfway line, where it's controlled by Steve Cook, and Forest are now back in possession here down the right hand side with Larrier in towards Garner. Good ball from Garner now, spots Colback on the left hand side, back in towards Cafu. There was a run from Cook into the box, but Cafu just playing it short towards Colback, back towards Garner. Garner now in midfield, looked up, thought about playing a long ball, just square now to Joe Worrell. Worrell in towards Zinkerangel. Back now to Garner, right hand edge of the penalty area. Quick passing here from Forest, but a line of West Brom players in yellow shirts making it very, very difficult. And then the ball over towards Cook is picked off here, a potential chance for a counter, but Gardner-Hickman is completely isolated down that right-hand side. He runs into Colback, Colback then deflects the ball out for a throw. And it's O'Shea coming up to take this one. You can see Steve Bruce and his assistant there, Steve Agnew. It's a partnership at a couple of clubs now. And as I say, they'll be expecting a little bit more from their team than what they've seen this evening, although things have conspired against them as well. And they'll point to that, obviously getting a player sent off away at Forest with just 15-16 minutes gone, as now there's going to be a booking here for Matt Phillips. Matt Phillips ran into the Forest player just at the edge of the field. Forest wanted a free kick which wasn't given. The collision was with Jack Colback, and then Matt Phillips was saintly convinced that it should be a throw onto his side. The linesman then pointed to say it's a throw onto Forest, and Matt Phillips, when he realised that it wasn't going to be a free kick for him, sorry, a throw on for him, I should say. Well, he's got a fair point there, Matt Phillips. I mean, it clearly came off Jack Colback, and as I say, it's been a bit of a theme in this game for West Brom. That being free kicks that haven't been given. Matt Phillips there picking up his first booking of the season. But as I say, that's there's no doubt that there was a throw on to West Bromwich Albion around about the halfway line on their left-hand side, which the linesman gave to West Brom. Forest basically had the ball in their possession, and then the referee just said, all right, throw on to Forest then, even though the referee had no real way of telling whether or not the ball came off Jed Spence or not. So it was a slight moment of controversy, because from that throw on that Forest had, then they won themselves a corner after a quick attack, and then from that corner they scored their second goal. Having said that, the corner that was scored and the free header that Ryan Yates had nothing to do with the referee giving a throw to the wrong side. That was just West Brom not marking properly inside the penalty area. But of course they would point to the fact that it shouldn't have been there in the first place. But yeah, just one of those nights where it all just went against West Brom in the first 15-20 minutes. And from that moment on, really, it's been a one-way traffic. Well, it's not really been in this second half. It's not been one-way traffic. It's just been almost going around a ring road, really. Just sort of sticking to the middle of the park here are Nottingham Forest, not doing too much to get forward, but also not having to worry too much about having to track back, because West Brom really have seen very little of the ball. We're at 87 minutes here. 3-0 lead for Forest in this game. Independent off-tube studio commentary. And just to remind you, the Premier League game tomorrow will be available on our service. Liverpool against Manchester United. That's an 8 p.m. kickoff on Wednesday. Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton, Leicester, Newcastle against Crystal Palace. They're all 7:45 kickoffs. Man City play against Brighton at 8 o'clock. And then another game on Thursday in the Premier League. Burnley against Southampton. With from what I understand, Sean Dyche was spotted in Nottingham a couple of days ago, enjoying his newfound free time, you could say. Just for what it's worth, I think it's a very dubious decision from the Burnley hierarchy to get rid of Sean Dyche. I mean, do they honestly think that another manager or one of his former assistants and his captain are going to get more out of that team than he did? I mean, he basically moulded that team on the very limited funds that Burnley gave him. Some kind-hearted stats man on Twitter pointed out that Burnley have spent an average of £2 million over their last 10 windows. So frankly, it's miraculous that they've stayed in the Premier League for as long as they have, and they're still in the Premier League now, of course, but facing a slightly more uphill battle now, I think, to try and survive. But it does seem like a curious decision to get rid of Sean Dyche when they did. Could have waited another 8 games, and I think with him as manager they would have stood a better chance of getting something out of those games than without him. But yesterday, Burnley with a great chance to win the game at West Ham, but Maxwell Cornet missing the penalty when they were 1-0 up, and it proved to be costly, with the game finishing in a draw. Of course, a horrific injury as well in that game for Ashley Westwood. You knew it was horrific because the TV replays were always from a long way away. They never really showed us him getting treatment, which is always a sign of just how bad the injury could be. Getting replays now of the 3 goals we saw in the first half. First goal was that penalty from Johnson, then the throw, which shouldn't have gone to Forest but resulted in them winning the corner, and that powerful header from Yates, and then that absolutely stunning volley from Jack Colback. As Forest on the attack now down the right-hand side. Has he been able to keep the ball in play there, Larry? I don't think he has. Oh, he has, yeah. He has actually won his side a corner kick there. So it is going to be a corner kick to Forest as we're into the last 30 seconds of regulation time here at the City Ground. It's going to be an outswinger from Gardner. Oh, it's not too far away. It was Laria who got close to it, but a brave diving header there from Matt Clark, putting his head where feet were to make sure that goes out for a corner. And it's going to be an outswinger here from Garner, with players waiting inside the box. It's into that near post again, missed by Cafu this time, and played back towards Laria, who's at the edge of the area. Back now towards Zinker Angel. His cross headed away by Matt Clark. It drops straight back to Philip Zinker Angel. We're into injury time. We're going to have 3 minutes of injury time here at the end of this game, as David Butter now with a long clearance up towards the halfway line. Decent header away there by Figueiredo. Chasing that ball was Gardner Hickman, but he couldn't quite control it there. Keep the ball alive for West Brom. Played back now towards Bryce Samba, who's, as I say, had probably one of the quieter games he's ever had to play in the Championship, I would guess. Just to confirm that West Brom haven't really had an effort on target. Well, they haven't had an effort on target in the game. They've only had one effort off target, and that was in the first half. So, as I say, the goalkeeper for Forest this evening could have quite easily bought himself a deck chair out and had a bit of a quiet evening in front of his own goal. It really has been one way. It has all been Forest really in this second half. So they're trying to put the icing on the cake here in the final 90 seconds. It's with Philip Zinker Angel. He plays it back towards Joe Worrell. Square now to Figueiredo. And to Jack Colback. Back towards Figueiredo on the halfway line. Pressure here on Worrell. Looks up and has options left and right. Just plays it short to Richie Laria. And Laria and back towards Tobias Figueiredo. Just a few minutes, just less than 90 seconds now to go in this game, and it really has been a tough one for West Bromwich Albion. It's been a tough few months for them, really. Looking at their form going into this game, they had a terrible time of it from sort of the end of December onwards, really. To defeat away at Derby, draw against Cardiff, and then a defeat against Brighton in the Cup, losing to QPR, winning against Peterborough, but then that run of 5 games with just the one draw. That was at home to Blackburn. 4 other defeats, all of them 2-0. Before that defeat at Middlesbrough and at home to Swansea, before they finally turned it around with that win away at Hull at the beginning of March. But it's been up and down for West Brom since then, really. And certainly not really able to get much of a purchase on this game after the sort of circumstances, you could say, conspired against them early on with that double yellow card for Furlong in very quick succession. But now a loose ball is played at the edge of the area, and Surridge breaks through. West Brom want an offside flag. Surridge curls it over the goalkeeper, and that is the icing on the cake with just seconds of injury time to play here at the City Ground. Forest have their 4th goal, and Sam Surridge, who's been running all throughout the evening, finally gets his goal. West Brom unhappy here. They were certainly looking towards the linesman for an offside flag. Flag doesn't come, though. And we'll see from this left-hand side as Colback played it into Zinker Angel. No way, no offside. No offside because of Connor Townsend. That's probably why Townsend was appealing that offside more vociferously than anybody else, because he knew that he was probably playing Sam Surridge onside. And certainly, if we did have VAR in the Championship, and plenty of Championship fans don't ever want to see it anywhere near this league, but if we did, there'd be no VAR check. Well, there would be a VAR check there, but they would just check it and confirm that the goal is given. We should have full time now, really, because we've only had a few seconds to play before that 4th goal was scored, and now the referee does call time on the game here at the City Ground. It's all over. Nottingham Forest hammering West Brom in the end by 4 goals to 0. Forest's first 3 goals coming in the first half. half. That was after Darnell Furlong saw 2 yellows in the 14th and 17th minute. Then Brennan Johnson from the resulting penalty made it 1-0. Ryan Yates made it 2-0 on 23 minutes, and an absolutely stunning volley from Jack Colback, making it 3-0 just before half-time, before a goal from Sam Surridge in injury time in the second half, wrapping the points up for Nottingham Forest. That's it for this off-tube studio commentary from myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz. Thank you very much. Do join us again soon.